everyone, and welcome to this installment of virtual tastings here at Henry & Son with me, Jill Mott. Today, I want to talk about wines that I've adored for almost, well, actually, I'll just say it, 20 years now. Wines from the Basque Country, specifically wines called Txakolina. Now, you may be asking, what is Txakolina? And I'll get to that in one moment, but I want to just first orient you. We're gonna keep it coastal. This is Kismet, by the way. Didn't plan on it, just feeling the mojo of these coastal wines. So we are in northern Spain, very close to the French border in the Spanish Basque Country, and it is only there that they can make Txakoli wines. And there are three distinct regions of which we'll travel through and taste all of them today. The first one we'll start at, and sort of the quintessential when people think of Txakoli, when they come to the store and they say Txakoli in Spanish, or Txakolina, as it's known in the Basque Country. Hey, do you have Txakolina? I traveled to Spain. They likely tasted wines from the Getaria region, which surrounds San Sebastian, a very famous tapas town in northern Spain. And when they taste these wines, they are white and light and with a little bit of spritz and very lively and fun and easy to tip back. That's the quintessential Txakolina flavor, and we're going to explore many shades of it today. I figured we'd start with a producer called Gaintza. Now, Gaintza, the vineyards literally butt up, they see the sea, and you get this coastal influence, this very briny, salty, mineral goodness with any good Txakoli, but especially the whites. And the typical pour is to pour as high up as you can. You usually, give a little spill. That's fine. It's good for you. Cleans the floors and stuff. But getting back to the wine and not the floors. The main grapes here are Ondarribi Tsuri and Ondarribi Beltza. Beltza being the red grape and Tsuri being the white grape. Now, they're often blended together. In this case, they are, but they also have a little Gros Manseng as well. Now, those of you who are in the know of grapes from southern France, you may say, well, how did Gros Manseng, a French grape, get over to northeastern Spain? Now, if you check on this map, you'll see that, the border is really close. It makes sense, right? But it's super mountainous. For those of you that watch the Tour de France or know anything about cycling, it's really, really mountainous, lots of elevation changes. And so likely, my opinion, is these grapes came via ship. Southwestern France trading with northeastern Spain and vice versa, back before there was even really that geopolitical border there. And, there was all kinds of trade in different products and so forth. And so grapevines, it's natural, would make their way southwest over to Spain. Ondarribi Beltza, the red grape, is actually a relative of Cab Franc. So it makes sense that they would have kind of in and around, mutated to create its own grape, and finds a spiritual home here in northeastern Spain. Let's taste this guy. Here we have clay limestone soils, that limestone really allowing for that acidity to come to the fore. An all estate fruit here. Bone dry. It's like Vino Verde, but with attitude. Just what a thirst quencher, and perfect for summertime. Now, people ask me, how does the gas get in the wine? You can CO2 inject, like soda. That is not the case with any of these wines here. This is actually, it's almost like a pet nat where, they bottled it with just a little bit of sugar, and then the fermentation kept going to render CO2. But in this case, that normally doesn't happen in the bottle in Txakoli. It happens in a tank, and then they bottle it under pressure to preserve that CO2. So all natural CO2 here, Gaintza, quintessential. Drink it while you can. It's great in the wintertime too, but obviously with 80, 90, and 100-degree temperatures, it's perfect. Next, we're going to it's literally a 4-minute drive from Gaintza to Amistoi. And I wanted to speak to Amistoi because we have this producer almost single-handedly to thank for Txakoli even being available on our shores, let alone popular. They've been making Txakoli for decades, 5th generation Txakoli maker, I believe, currently. And They just kept making it. People in New York started to, love it. Tourists obviously brought back the thirst for it. And, New York, that love spread to Los Angeles and San Francisco area. And we move inward, and now we're having Txakoli fests all over the country. There's Txakoli Fest in Idaho, Minnesota, Wisconsin, you name it, the state, maybe with a couple of exceptions. People are able to drink Txakoli, and that's thanks to Amistoi. They make a white. We have it on occasion, but I wanted to showcase the rosé because the rosé, called Rubentis, is really quite a new invention. When we think of rosé, has been around for decades here in this country, thanks to Provence and opening the floodgates to have delicious dry rosé, especially in the summertime. But here they're blending Ondaribi Tsuri, so the white grape, with Ondaribi Belza, the red grape, to give a new face to Txakoli, because whites have been gaining traction for years, and yet they weren't really making rosé wines. And so Amistoi decided to release a rosé a few years back, actually about a decade or so ago, to amazing results. And it's like a white with a little more tannin to it because of the skin contact. So that's really great. They also make a 100% Ondaribi Belza. So a really cool opportunity to taste the red grape on its own. It is a still wine, maybe just smallest flirtation with effervescence, but all done in stainless steel to preserve freshness. If you love Cabernet Franc, you're going to adore this wine called Stimatum by Amistoi. And just a little tidbit of history. Hundreds of years ago, Txakoli was mostly reddish, like a really dark rosé, really, really light red in color. So this is almost in homage to that century-old tradition of making red wine. Onward to the next region. So now we're going to go west along the coast, and we're going to arrive in the Biscaya region, which this region is known for Txakolis that are very similar. Spritzy, dry, minerally, all kinds of notes of sea spray and stone fruits like apples and pears and such. Donien Gorondona, they're located on the coast. Literally, their vineyards, just like Gainza and Amistoi, they see the sea. However, they do make fun, cheerful Txakoli. They also make this super serious Txakoli. Here, we have a combination of red and white grapes. We have an addition here of Petit Corbu and Full Blanche. Again, grapes that likely crossed the Bay of Biscay to get over here. And you can serve it from high up, have fun with it. It's great. It's called escanciando when you pour it from high up. But this is actually meant to be served just with a regular pour. And you'll notice there's a little bit of CO2, but it's almost like a serious CO2, if you will. Not as spritzy and sprightly as the Gainza or the Amistoi. Just a little bit more of a full flavor. Here it's got a year on it. It's drinking just gorgeously. And before I run out of time, I want to jump down to the region that's the furthest south, the smallest region. We have a little can of it, and it's amazing. Just shy of a half bottle here, 250 milliliters. We're in the region of Álava. So you're at the Bay of Biscay. Now you're Biscaya. You go over a few sets of mountain ranges, and you're in another valley, very verdant in Álava. Here it's further inland, so a little bit warmer. The wines tend to have a little bit more body, but they still receive all of that seawater raining on the vineyards via condensation, evaporation, rain, and of course dew. And so here you do still get that coastal influence. Now scientists will tell you, you know what? There's no way that you can taste seawater through these grapes. Well, grape skins are permeable, so in my mind you can. It's delicious, it's perfect. You bring it to the park legally, maybe don't bring it to the park. Bring it camping. It's perfect size for one serving, and a really cool way to try Txakoli that still has spritz and still is pretty, but a little bit warmer style, a little bit more girth on the mid palate, but every bit as energetic. So from my glass to yours, as the Basques would say, onegin. Drink well, everyone. Enjoy the wines. Ay, Txakolina!